Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much to all. First of all, thank you very much for Dawn to having over here, because my point would be as this esteemed audience and this platform itself, because just 1 minute to spend on what is Dawn is obviously from the mouthpiece of Pakistan. What is being discussed on this forum should have to be that rock solid that it has an impact of what is being discussed as not just a panel. It's, as I heard earlier, action speaks louder than the words. So what is right now the case would be is that, and I've heard something outside, sitting over there, that there's a great works happening on the space of this climate change or this current situation which is evolving. But what is missing is a connect. Many people outside in the world don't know that what's going on. So coming back to the topic, which is obviously is like revolving around the breath on the ear is, since I'm from the energy sector and energy is the lifeline of it, as what you say, that here you need, as some foreign contents are there, so I'll not keep all mostly in the English, that it is सांस जीने के लिए सांस चाहिए. You need air to breathe it. But to drive a human being, you need energy. And the energy is the lifeline of what is corresponds to this. So Pakistan, as a current state of affair right now, imports around 85 to around 80% of the oil imports, which convert both petrol and the diesel, and being the price which you know all this of. So this is all about energy security. Now, the energy security is considered to be the national security, as being what is happening right now around the world. So my point, which we'll cover in the next few minutes, what it is, that it is not the security situation now. It's the crisis which is already there. Now, to address that crisis, I wanted to mention some numbers. That's why I've been having it, that what is right now is happening. There's a lot of work happening from where, like I belong to Karachi, and I have individuals who are having great works doing in the line of supporting the action speak out in the world. That right now in a case, right, the government right now in a strategic planning with the Saudis, like let's say about, I'll tell you guys an example, that people say that you need, right now with the conflict, the message comes or a lesson comes that you need the storage, like you mean that you need to store the energy to inform, meaning you need a strategic storages, which is the case. But now, what is the case now? That the energy sovereignty is actually not about storing or importing fuel. It is about producing energy locally. Now, that's where the biggest headline of this conference should have to be the case one in, that from fields to farms, from animals to the waste, one of the two major proponents which we are focusing is biogas and the biomass. Now, the fraction of this imported fuel, or what we call it, is something which is looking for the alternatives. Right now, I'll just give you another example from what is right now happening, that obviously, as I said earlier, that from here to climate change is this, what is the situation is. Now, what is the issue? What is the critical effect? The critical effect is, in the current scheme, is about one is emission. Now, I don't know anybody in my other forums discuss about it, that how the emission problems working in. Now, I'll give you an example, a live example of a daily basis, whoever owns in this team audience, either industrialist or a consultant or whatsoever, that this goes side by side with the two aspects. One is emission and another is pressure on sand water resources. Now, as you know, the greatest emission, now this is something for you guys' knowledge also, and for my other colleagues, that the emissions, the NOx, there's something called NOx and NOx. I don't know how many of people you know that NOx is the worst part of the more dangerous, more than 200% more dangerous than the CO2. Now, how we can draw out of this NOx? Now, NOx is something, and you will be also surprised that Pakistan, being the fourth largest nation by all means now, will be coming soon, that we corresponds to around CO2 of around 584 million tons of a CO2, which corresponds to 10 to 15 billion dollar per an average which exists. And this, what I'm saying, is actually on ground happening. Yesterday, one of our minister mentioned that we will do this, we will do that. So I have a little bit of a unorthodox approach of taking things, that we are not discussing what is actually being there on. Now, from where this emission comes, where the gentleman just mentioned about the EV upcoming phenomena, we have a more than 100,000 boilers extend from all the way from Karachi site area to the Port Qasim to the Manga Mandi and whatsoever not, which corresponds to the emission totaled around $25 billion. And I dare someone to challenge it, that this is the numbers we are talking about, and this whole it's one of this. Sorry, I am bringing it a little bit long because I wanted to come into the distinctive point. So in that case, what we are looking for, that out of this one single option of this emission from NOx and NOx, imagine how much the sustainability we can draw out from there. One. Second would be, I will come next. You will give the time to others, and I'll put second one on my second point.